Hi, Big T here. Do you like your puzzle platformers to have mildly suggestive themes, boss battles with characters that look like they have a butt for a face, and alcoholism? Well, you're in luck because we're day drinking and today we're talking about Catherine, Full Body. Today's video is brought to you by Animal Crossing New Horizons, not because they sponsored this video, but because it's currently my only reason for living on this earth. I started playing it, and now I'm not gonna stop playing it. But now, let's get into the feature presentation. Catherine Full Body is a game that I beat soon after I got out of high school, and then again as a young adult with nothing better to do, I beat it for a second time. And now since they re-released it with even more content, I'm playing it for a third time now.
Does that sound familiar?
And what I'm basically here to say is if you haven't gotten on the Catherine Full Body train yet, you need to jump on it, because this is the best time to do it. There's no better time than right now. This game has been not only released for new platforms, but it also adds an entirely new story with new dialogue being voiced by all the original actors. They got them back in the studio, back in the stew to spit some bars, and now you're getting even more for your money. It was originally like 50 and 50 for the two storylines you had. Now it's like 50% more content. Probably not really, don't take my word for it. As you've probably guessed by now, Catherine is a puzzle platformer where the objective is to get to the top of the tower without it bottoming out from under you. That's the main gameplay, but we're not really just here for the gameplay, we're here for the story that this has, and it is riveting. You play as our anti-hero Vincent Brooks, who wakes up in his one-bedroom apartment to find himself cheating on his girlfriend with somebody else. His girlfriend being Catherine, that's spelled with a K.
Snap out of it!
Coincidentally, the person that is cheating on him with is Catherine with a C. Things get a little confusing there.
How do you feel about me?
And also with the new game now, you have a story option that branches off into a third plot point, which is Catherine with a Q? Catherine? She's considered Rin, as in Catherine. So now you have three stories. It's kind of like it was a love triangle, but now it's more like a love square. And this goes on throughout a story that unfolds in a multitude of 2D and 3D cutscenes in a fantastic art style that branches out throughout the game, throughout multiple choice questions, and the story will change depending on how you answer them. The interesting thing here is that they could have made a game like this all on its own with multiple choice answers, like a graphic novel game type of thing, right? They could have done that, but then they also have this puzzle platforming gameplay that could have kind of been its own thing, and together it kind of just works, right? These stories unfold in nightmares. Every night that you play a puzzle platforming segment is a nightmare that Vincent is having, and you find throughout the world that multiple men are dying from having these nightmares, as in they die in a dream and they don't wake up. Your goal here is to keep him from dying, obviously, or he'll turn out like these other ones. You hear rumblings of this throughout the bar, which is also like your main hub area, and other places throughout the game while you're talking with other characters. The gameplay plays out in stages. You might have like 2 or 3 platforming segments, and then you have a boss battle. All these boss battles are varied and different in their own way. They all kind of do a similar thing, which is to obviously slow you down or stop you from progressing through the puzzle. Very neat, pretty well executed. The gameplay, if you're looking for a huge variety here, doesn't change up too much. Although now with the Full Body Edition, they offer you a new option, which is called like Remix Mode. It changes up some of the blocks to give you a different type of experience, but you could play it just in the regular mode just fine. After successfully beating a series of these puzzles, you'll be offered a multiple choice question, which will progress your story differently depending on how you answer it. And then you'll be sent to the bar, which is kind of like your hub area that you're hanging out with a couple of friends. You'll be answering some texts from your girlfriend and maybe a few other characters that will change the story depending on that. They also send you lewd pictures because that's what they do in the game.
Shit. Obviously, this is a romantic type of deal with a, kind of a
suggestive undertone to it, and that's just par for the course. That's what you're in here for. You know what you were expecting within like the first 5 minutes of you getting into this game. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of creep. You want to play the game too. If you've done any amount of research on this, you may be saying to yourself, but Big T, not T, my name's Big T on YouTube, so we're gonna go with that. I'm only going along with it because I know it bothers you, Robert. I see you watching this video because you're probably snapping me this certain part right here. I'm waiting for it. You're probably saying to yourself, you could just watch all the cutscenes on YouTube throughout like an hour, 30-minute video. You could, but it hits different when you're playing it. It's kind of like Animal Crossing. The game wouldn't hit the same if you planted a tree and then it just grew. Having to wait throughout a couple days feels like you're really changing the world, and it gives you a chance to wake up every day and experience something different. This is not an Animal Crossing video. I don't know why I'm going into that. You feel the effect of your choices differently when it's actually you answering these questions, and nobody is going to have the same playthrough exactly, so it's kind of good to go in there and be faced with the tension yourself, to do it and see what happens. So if you're going to go to the trouble to just watching all the cutscenes, you might as well just pick the game up and play through it yourself. It's a good time It's a fun game, and you got a lot of content on offer here. One gripe of mine, which isn't really a gripe, it's kind of a nitpick, it's kind of a weird thing they did with this. This full body is being repackaged as kind of like the complete experience. That's the whole play on words throughout the game. That's the theme of the game. The wine is like the fully bodied wine, right? But then they have a DLC section where you can buy extra content. Like there's these shades that you can wear where you can see everybody in their underwear. It's kind of like, you know, little Japanese quirk of the game, which is cool. But you would have to buy that separately. I don't know why they just wouldn't have included that in the game, but little micro DLC nitpicks aside, the game is a really good package. It's really fun, and obviously none of that is required to play through it. If you're on the fence about it, take it from somebody who's playing this for the third time. It's a good game. Just pick it up. That is, of course, if you can pull yourself away from Animal Crossing, which I'm having a hard time doing right now. I hope everybody's having a good time, staying safe, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to maybe check out some of my other stuff maybe. I got some pretty good content, some pretty not so good content, but I'll let you be the judge of that. I'm also starting up a podcast called Gains and Games with Robert. He was in my last working out video. You can check that out as well. Be sure to look out for that in the near future if you have any interest in podcasts. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. It's been T. Later. I beat it again after stumbling on my words while I'm trying to record this video. Oh wow. Wow, that was really bad. Yeah, this is me boosting the gain up to see how that sounds. That sounds okay, we're gonna go with it. As you've probably guessed by now, Catherine is a cousin fucker. So here's the thing, bro. I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna have to recollect my thoughts.